Okay, this is FSA practice week 2, question 1. All right, it says it gave you this formula, A equals 6S, and you're probably looking at that formula and you're like, I don't know what to do with it, which is fine. We'll just keep reading. It can be used to find the surface area of a cube that has the side lengths of S units. Okay. Use the formulas to find the surface area of the box shown. So let me tell you where this formula even comes from. So if we're talking about surface area, we have to go back into our brains and figure out what surface area is. Okay, surface area is the wrapping paper. That's like the outside pieces of this box. Okay, so like this side is part of the surface area, and then we have this side, the top, and then we'll have this side. So there's, even though we only see 3 sides, we know that there are actually 6 sides to a cube. Okay, they all have the same area because I know what a cube is, all right, and I know what a 3D object is. So that is where that 6 is coming from. It's saying that we need to find S, which is the surface area of one side, and then just multiply it to 6. That'll give us all the sides in total. So now we have to go back into our files in our brain and be like, okay, what do I do to find area? Well, the area of one side, or just a square, is just length times width. All right, so our length looks like it's 8.5. Our width is probably 8.5. So we know we're doing 8.5 by 8.5. That is what we're multiplying. Now, in my opinion, I think it's best to put these into decimals. So we're going to do that. So I just happen to know that 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So this is actually 8.5 times 8.5. And if you don't know that 1/2 is 0.5, you can go ahead and just go do 1 divided by 2, and you'll end up getting 1/2. Or you'll end up getting 0.5, 0.5. We're doing 8.5 times 8.5. So now I just have to multiply them together. I'm gonna line them up at the top. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 2 more is 42. Now I'm moving over to the 8, so I need a placeholder. I'm gonna cross this out so I don't get confused. 8 times 5 is 40. Put a 0 here and carry a 4. 8 times 8 is 64, plus 2 more is 68. Okay, 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 8 is 12. And 1 plus 6 is 7. Now, I know that it's not 7,225. 8.5 times 8.5 is not in the 7,000s. It's because we have to move the decimal. So remember, there are 2 numbers behind the decimal in the original problem, so you move the decimal 2 places. So your final answer would be 72.25. Now, that answer is in your multiple choice. You're like, yay, I'm done, I'm moving on. But 72.25 is only for one side. That is just for this side. So always read the question, do your math, reread the question. Use the formulas to find the surface area of the box. We only found the surface area of one side of the box, but that's not what it's asking for. It's asking for the whole thing. So now we need to do 72.25 and multiply it 6, because there are 6 sides. Now, remember, when we are multiplying decimals, we do not have to align the numbers. We don't have to align them. The 6 does not have to be over here. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 more is 15. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 more is 13. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 1 more is 43. Now, one more time, I have to move the decimal 2 places because there are 2 numbers behind the decimal. And so your answer, final answer, should be 433.5. inches cubed. Okay. Number 2. Week 2, question 2. What is the area of the triangle below? And I know when you're looking at this, you're probably saying, well, there are 2 triangles. Are we talking about the big triangle? Like, what are we doing? The dashed lines are not the triangle. It's just showing you the height of it. This is the only really, this is the triangle it's talking about in here. But the reason why they do the dashed line to show you straight up and down is to show you the height of it, how tall it is from the very bottom to the very top. Because if you think about it, when you go to the doctor and they measure your height, they're not going to measure you at an angle. They're going to have you stand straight up tall. So that's why we need it that up and down. So the cool thing is this equation only gives us 2 numbers. So when you are trying to find the area of a triangle, okay, we have to look into our formula sheet, and it is base times height cut in half. If you remember it is 1/2 base times height, that's fine too. It's the same thing. Basically base times height, and you're going to multiply 1/2. So let's do base times height. So it looks like my base is 2.5 and my height is 8.75. So actually, I'm going to put the longer number at the top. My decimals do not have to align when I'm multiplying. So I'm going to put 8.75 at the top, and I'm going to put 2.5 down here. Multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 2 more, which is 37. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 2 more is 43. Now I'm moving on. I'm going to cross these out so I don't get confused. Moving on to the 2, so I got to put a 0 placeholder. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 more is 15. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 more is 17. And then we add them. 5, 7, 8, 4 plus 7 is 11, and 2. And now I have to count how many numbers are behind my decimal, which I have 1, 2, 3. So I move the decimal 1, 2, 3. So my area so far is 21.875. But according to my formula, it's base times height cut in half. Cut in half. So now I need to divide this by 2. Divide whatever our base times height is, which is 21.875 divided by 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 0, bring down the 1. Oh, sorry, put my decimal up here. 2 can't go into 1, so it goes in 0 times. Bring down the 1. 2 goes into 18 9 times. 2 goes into 7 6 times. I'm sorry. No, 3 times. What am I doing? 2 times 3 is 6. 1. I think we can still keep going. So we can keep going, but we know the answer is going to be 10.9375. But yeah, because we have 10.9 and then this is a, yeah. Oh, sorry, this is a 7, which I can keep showing you, which is 14, 1, add a 0. Oops, I'm running out of room. 5 times. So 10.9375. Alrighty, so this is week 2, question 3, and we're finding the area of a polygon. It's called a polygon because poly just means many and gon means sides, many sides. That's all it means, you know. But this is a little bit weird, but it's okay because there are shapes within it that we do know how to find the area of. All right, so you can do this 2 different ways. Doesn't matter which one you choose. I'm going to choose this one way, and if you did it another way but got the same answer, that's fine too. So I'm going to cut the shape like this. So I have, this is one rectangle on this side, and then I'll do pink. This is the other rectangle. Now, if you cut it straight across here, that'll be fine too. Your area is going to be the same. You just might have some different calculations. So I'm going to do the blue first, and I'll even do it in blue writing. This is a rectangle. I know that the area of a rectangle is length times width. So my length is 1.5, or my length can be 3.5. It's basically the two numbers. It's this side that's involved, and then this top side. So we have 1.5 times 3.5. I'm going to make this a little narrower. All right. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 more is 7. Cross that out. Placeholder. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. So we add 5, 12, 5. Now, my decimal, I have to move it 2 places because there are 2 numbers behind my decimal. So this area here is 5.25. That is the whole blue area. But we need to find the pink one. This one's a little bit more tricky. So let me grab, we'll do pink. Okay, so this part, we have to find like the height and the length. Well, it gave us this number 5. This 5 centimeters is this entire thing, but I only want this much of it. So I need to go ahead and subtract whatever this portion is in order to just find this. So I know the whole thing is 5, and I know based on this number, because it's directly across from it, this has got to be 1.5. So I'm going to take 1.5 away from 5. Okay, that is going to give me 3.5. So this entire side, just this portion, is 3.5. Now I got to figure out how tall it is. Well, there's nothing that tells me how tall it is. But what I do know is, oh, I'm sorry, let me erase this. I do know that this entire thing is 3.5, because that's what's across from this one right here. I know this entire thing is 3.5, and I just have to subtract this portion of it to find out what this is. Well, this portion of it is 1.5. So I have to deduct this from here. Well, 3.5 minus 1.5 is 2. So I know this portion is just 2. So now that we have our sides of our pink box, we have 3.5 and 2. I'm going to go ahead and multiply them together. 3.5 times 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 3 is 6, and that is 1. And then I have one number behind the decimal, so I bring the decimal over 1. So this now is 7. This whole side is 7, and then this rectangle is 5.25. But it wants the whole thing. So now I just have to add these two numbers together. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. In the past, we have been just lining up our decimals and multiplying them. When you add decimals, you do have to line them up. So we have 5.25 and then plus 7. The 7 has to go underneath over here because we are adding decimals. And then I'll just place zeros in that place. So now we just add. So let me get last color. So we have 5, 2, bring down your decimal. 5 plus 7 is 12. So the entire thing is 12.25.